Alrighty. This is not financial advice, just the way I'm looking at the market. It was an interesting market last night. So had quite a bit of volatility across the board. So let's see where everything has landed. First off, we'll start with this daily chart again. I'm gonna actually start with NASDAQ because I haven't quite had a look, but well, all right. We've already had a pretty decent jump. So NASDAQ making new highs, finally getting a little bit of volume through as well. The S&P's obviously made new highs. And lo and behold, all the people screaming bearish, probably a bit nervous right now. Wow, that's a big jump. That is a massive jump after the close on the ES1 and the NQ1. They're effectively continuous trading. The fuck's going on there? Okay, that's something I haven't seen before, and I don't know whether that's real or not. You look back at all the trading history of this thing, you don't get gap ups on the actual mini futures. Not sure what's happening there. If there's anyone here and they know, then let me know. That's wow. Anyway, back here, obviously, when we had the CPI result come out, it was very bullish. You can see for the Origin guys, I actually posted a little chart which was on the, I think it was on the 1 minute chart actually on Bitcoin, and just gonna think, should I bring that up even? See if I can find something that shows you what I was talking about. Interestingly, this bot would have done well, but what I was looking at was actually, and I'm just going to talk about this because it's sort of what you can watch out for if you are going to play with news. So just on this chart, so it's a little bit messy. Basically, the news dropped like right at the start of this candle. So if you're going to play news, you play it on the very short time frames. I don't like doing it because I'm hopeless. I'll try and guess which way it's going, trade accordingly, but this one was pretty obvious if you're going to get out of it. Now, I was looking at it as going into the announcement, I was looking at it as quite a decent formation here. We broke this line and then we were, I think it was around here, we'd sort of bounced off the 200 EMA, which typically you want to see a good retrace up to that same sort of neckline here. I'm going to see a good retrace up and then potentially head down. And I was thinking, yeah, okay, we've got a lot of candles in here, a lot of vector candles, so they might want to recover that. And then I was actually expecting things, so I was expecting the initial news to be negative and then to come back up. But I also said in that post that, you know, clear failure of this would be a decent closure above this horizontal green line. And that's actually exactly what we got. It looked like it wanted to go down, but this 200 EMA was a pretty good support line. Got a few bounces off it, a few tests of this level again, and then we actually got the first signs with that decent volume candle just there. Now, that to me was the sign that, okay, this is actually probably going positive. And then you get another one literally 1 minute before the CPI results come out. And this is the thing, people know what's going to happen before it happens. And you'll see the markets on the very short time frames will tend to move in the direction they're going to move once the announcement breaks. So yeah, that would have actually been a good trade, but that was bedtime, and I sort of posted this thing back here and went to sleep. I think I woke up again. Or maybe I watched it. Yeah, anyway. I remember thinking, holy shit, that is a significant move on significant volume. Interestingly, we did not reclaim. I'll just go to a 15-minute chart. So we didn't really break above this zone in here, which obviously we retraced that entire move and then some. We actually cleaned up a lot of these vectors in here with the move back down. Now, this is a decent recovery of these candles. We've also moved back into the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA on the 15 minute. So I'm expecting some more sort of consolidation today. Asia might try and move the markets again, but I don't know. It's still, yes, the news was positive, but overall the market still seems to want to push lower. So it'll be interesting. Day again today. We'll just go back into these high time frames and the general stocks. See what the frig's going on there. That, yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Obviously, we've had a pretty decent breakout, new all-time highs. So essentially, this still is not supported by global liquidity injections, Fed injections, or anything like that. So Nvidia, I mean, I would expect Nvidia to at least come up to 155 again. It's not going to leave a wick like that. We just go to the midpoint of that wick. You're probably 156.50 at the least on Nvidia. Over the next couple of days, I suspect. There is still some core inflation data to come out. I think it's tomorrow or Friday or something. But we'll see. I don't think it's going to be anything really different to what we saw today. The Fed was quite, I guess, conservative in the meeting as well afterwards, so that might help push things back down, but essentially they're still predicting some rate cuts before the end of the year, and the market seemed to like that. But they did suggest they still want to see inflation come down to that 2% target. So it's really going to be an interesting couple of months, because they realistically, the read I got was that they're not going to cut rates until they actually see either a 2% inflation or a drop in the job market. So, lots of unemployment. And honestly, it might happen, but I wouldn't expect the change to be big enough for them to cut rates. I suspect if they do cut rates, it's only going to be because it's political, just trying to make the incumbent happy leading into an election. So let's have a quick look. Everything's pretty well done well overnight. Decent volumes on the different. Oh, interesting. So the Russell 2000 actually opened up reasonably high. That's a big gap up. Didn't recover that whole gap though. But geez, you'd almost call that an island reversal too to the upside. That's a interesting candle, to say the least. I think smaller businesses are more affected by higher rates, so maybe that's what the market's trying to say there. XLIs, again, interesting. Most things seem to have gapped up, but not everything sort of followed through. That is an interesting chart though. We have actually got a break to the upside, suggesting this rally will actually be supported and be a proper rally. I'll be looking out on FX Evolution's video today just to see what the CTAs are doing. Dixie's dropped, which doesn't really surprise me on that news. VIX is obviously low still. TLT's interesting. Got a gap up, but it has dropped, bounced off the 200 there. Wow, if high yield can break above this level, that would suggest we're going to have a few months of pretty decent upside. There are a few people calling for 6,000 on the SPY. Oh, sorry, on the S&P 500 by the end of the year. So, yeah, I'd say that would be a topping sign for me. Skew has come back up. So as we sort of said yesterday, the skew is suggesting that there is more upside. Copper's flat. Very flat. Yeah, you'd probably expect copper, if we do get a decent run in the market, you would expect copper to bounce a bit. That's probably not a bad buying point for copper there. For a longer term sort of play. Gold is pretty similar. If we break below this level on gold, so the 2285 sort of level, then you'd expect it to come quite a bit lower, but at the moment it's still, realistically, you're doing lower lows, lower highs, so gold may actually push lower. And if the general market does go up, it wouldn't surprise me to see gold sort of do some of these ones, go a bit sideways over the next few months, sideways and down. So there might be some good buying opportunities in and around the 2200 to 2155. Might be pretty good levels. Hey Joshua. All right. Keep going. Australian dollars jumped a little. It's good. We are seeing the M2 money supply is still ticking up a little bit too, which is interesting. Might support the rally. The yield curve's still up. So again, that's my key indicator. If the yield curve drops below 1%, oops, US 2-year, 10-year, then I would be actually looking for a decent correction on the cards. Interestingly, we do seem to have formed a bit of a bottom here on the percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average. So again, this could be a sign of a decent turnaround. I don't worry too much about the moving averages on this one. It's more just, once we get above sort of 80 or even 70, you're starting to get into overheated markets, and you would expect a correction. And normally it's more like if you're down below sort of 25 or so, you would be looking for good buying opportunities. We didn't really get as low as I thought we would there, or even here. So that's why I think maybe one more push to the upside on this, on the market in general, and then we'll see a decent correction. Whether we see that before or after the election will be interesting. Oil has had a decent run to the upside, but looks like it might have found some sellers. So yeah, oil may come down, and often happen when the market goes up. Yeah, the big guys are definitely moving along with this rally. All right, so Bitcoin longs have had a tick up as well. So obviously, there's been a few people buying the dip, maybe chasing that move yesterday. But yeah, overall that has ticked up, which is a good sign. And I suggest any further dipping would also probably be bought up. It doesn't mean we won't actually dip. I'm just going to have a quick look at Bitcoin dominance. So that's actually dropped off a little bit. It is interesting at the moment how quickly money flows out of Bitcoin into the altcoins. So as you can see, altcoins have had a pretty decent run. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably just cut off the actual percentages, but they're generally between 2 and 12% for most of the ones that I track. I don't track a lot of them closely at the moment. I don't think it's altcoin season yet. Have a quick look at Ethereum. Again, geez, it's trading so much differently to Bitcoin lately. It's quite interesting. Hasn't retraced as much as Bitcoin has, but it pretty much recovered at least half of this vector candle here. So I'll just do it on this chart. Decent retest at the top of the Gaussian channel though. Looks like it's supported by the 50-day moving average right at the moment. Couldn't clear back above the 20 moving average though, so kind of in no man's land. I mean, generally the overall trend is still to the downside. We really need to be clearing back above this 3,721 sort of level. If we can clear above that, that would be reasonably bullish, but obviously clearing above sort of, particularly the body of these candles on a daily close would be quite bullish. At the moment, I'm not prepared to really call this particularly bullish yet, but same sort of thing with Bitcoin. Basically, this most traded volume area, the 50 EMA, has been obviously a critical level for it. That is a pretty wicked wick to the upside. Typically, that means the buyers are exhausted normally. So we'll just have to wait and see, because there is, just moving to the Bitcoin miner net flow. It was, I guess, slightly positive compared to this big inflow there, but overall it's still fairly negative. I'm still looking at these guys, like the miners. If Bitcoin drops too low, then the miners become unprofitable. Generally, you don't see that for very long. So, there's still a bit of room, I believe. I haven't got a chart with that on it. There's probably a little bit of room for them to still keep going, but in terms of to the downside. But yeah, I think this, just kind of wait and see on the shorter time frames, really. At the moment, looks like we bounced off the 50 EMA. But yeah, the Bollinger Bands are contracting. I'd be expecting mainly sideways today. Mainly sideways, potentially a retest of the bottom side of this Bollinger Band before we move back up, which it's probably going to come in 66s. Yeah, apart from that little bit of news play there, which obviously ate up all the liquidity in the shorts there. Surprised they didn't run higher than that though. That surprised me a little bit. Anyway, I guess at the moment the long-term time frames kind of tick to the upside, so looking from that perspective, there's a chance of more upside, but realistically the shorter term time frame is still down at the moment, so yeah, I'm expecting sideways and down today, I think. Ready for the next news play. At least we're starting to see a bit of volume come through like that. That 15-minute volume there is pretty substantial, which is good to see. The only one that's beat it so far recently was that big capitulation candle there, 21,000 Bitcoin. This is on Bybit too, obviously. Where will USD real go? Is that an actual trading pair? As in real link? Huh? No, that can't be it. Well, you're asking where USD will actually go. Assuming that's not. Wait, that won't even load. Ah, right. Yeah, I hope that's not the one you're talking about, because wow. It's not really something I would be trading. Anyway, better than that. Let me know. Holy shit. I had a good run. it launched like right towards the peak of the 2021 bull market. She's dead, Jim. Someone's still trading it though. Holy crap. Anyway, there's a lot of X's in that if it gets to its all-time high. I think that'll do me for today. Gotta go do some work. Catch you later. Hang on. Sorry, you just got in time. I was literally about to click the stop streaming button. US dollar versus Brazilian real. Let's see if I can get it. Doesn't look like it's going to have it. Just get a Forex. It's under BRL. There you go. Alright. Could be a nice double top forming there. Yeah, gotcha. Cheers. Quick look on the daily. Ooh. Fair bit of resistance at this level, I would think. I always pick the wrong. What the? There we go. It's gonna struggle to break through this sort of area, I would think, especially given it's so extended, and US dollar. I mean, US dollar is dropping a little bit. Just have a quick. Yeah, if the US dollar continues its downtrend, then you'll probably see some more upside on the Brazilian. Oh no, that's dropping. Yeah, right. That makes more sense. I had it around the wrong way. US dollar was breaking out, trying to break out, but opposite here. So that's going to be a pretty critical level, I would think. You'd probably get a bounce here, to be honest, somewhere in this 0.18 level. Be a little bounce. It's a pretty severe downtrend, like when you're seeing where's my thing? When you're seeing such big sort of sharp bounces and then big waterfall type sell-offs, typically you will get the same thing a couple of times. So I would suggest that if the US dollar does actually drop a bit more, you will see a bit of a bounce, probably come back in, at least retest the bottom of this. That's just a guesstimate based on what the chart's doing, but it's definitely looking pretty bearish still. There's no real sign of a turnaround yet. I guess that's the key takeaway there. It's getting into a critical level, but just there's no sign of a turnaround. All right. yeah, so it's US dollar versus the Brazilian is a little bit away from an all-time high. The Brazilian's a fair bit away from an all-time low. Yeah. Alrighty. I'll stop it there. No worries. Joshua. Catch you later.